Hello, I'm Penny Melville-Brown from Baking Blind. My first career was in the Royal Navy until I lost my sight. So it was a real honour to win the Holman Prize that commemorates James Holman, who, like me, was blinded while serving in the Navy, and he went on to travel all over the world. I hope I've honoured James Holman by following in his footsteps and finding some of his sense of adventure. And I've got Jensen here from America and my pal John, who is showing us how to make authentic fish and chips. Last week we did the chips. This time we're going to make beer-battered cod loin. Try getting your lips around that one. First we made the batter with self-raising flour, and Jensen prepared the beer.
Well, it doesn't take you long to get the beer right to Jensen.
I'm looking for
Wow, you want the glass?
Glass was up
This
there.
isn't warm beer. Okay.
In went the baking powder and a good pinch of salt, and finally the beer.
How much of the beer are you expecting to put in the bottle?
Is it not?
What's the beer?
So it's a good old English ale we're putting in.
What is it?
It's called the Amber Adder.
The Amber Adder. Okay, what's it like, Jensen?
It doesn't know there's nothing
Can I
left.
have a We added the remaining beer and Jensen whisked.
By the way, do we have another can of beer?
Unfortunately,
Not for
no. We're going to coat the fish in some flour,
Yeah.
and we're also going to coat your fingers in the flour so we don't burn your fingers while we put it in the batter, because we don't want to drop the fish into the frying pan,
Yes.
otherwise the fat will spit up and
Yes.
burn your hands. So we're going to batter your fingers so you can put your fingers into the hot oil.
So are you warrantying that once we batter our fingers?
I will do it first, just to make sure it's the batter and then you've got enough flour in it.
Lawyers are watching.
While we left the batter to bubble up for 10 minutes, John took over.
So as Penny doesn't like mushy peas, I will make mushy peas to my own special recipe. Now she's not about at the moment, I'll show you exactly how I do it. And into the bowl.
While John was secretly making his mushy peas, Jensen told me about his challenge to all those international technology companies.
So, Global Accessibility Awareness Day is something that my co-founder, Joe Devon, so hello Joe, if you're watching, he wrote a blog post in 2011, we'll say in November of 2011, where it was a little bit of a rant, because that's what us tech people do. When we're not happy, we'll blog or find some other way to rant. But his dad at the time was struggling using a bank website.
Yep.
Just to do simple things that you and I would take for granted, or anyone would take for granted. And so he got on the blog, ranted a little about that, and then mentioned, most web developers, because he at the time was a web developer. He now is an owner of a web agency.
Yeah.
But at the time he was a developer, and he's saying, most developers don't even know that, have never heard a screen reader before, or seen one, or know anything about what accessibility is. So he put a challenge forward and said, we need to have a day, a Global Accessibility Awareness Day, where people will take some time to learn about it. Because I had already been involved in some other awareness work myself, growing a couple of what are called accessibility camps.
Yeah.
And what those are free events, typically on weekends, that people are brought together and they learn about different aspects of design and development and accessibility. And the history's all up. If people want to learn more about it, it's up at globalaccessibilityawarenessday.org. But essentially, .org.
Yeah.
And essentially, we didn't think it was going to go anywhere, honestly. So we ran it in the first year, and it just took off. Because the idea is, that day, global accessibility is it's an excuse to just cause a conversation on any aspect of digital access or inclusion. And it could be anything from showing someone how to use a sip and puff device, or talking about how...
Can you just explain?
Sure.
A
sip and puff device is something for people who don't have use of their hands or arms. So they use their mouth, sipping and puffing to control rather than using a keyboard. Some of the features on the iPhone and on the Android devices that are assistive technologies for us, as you know, really started as something that was being a problem solved for people without disabilities.
Yes.
Like the voice recognition software. That was never envisioned, I don't think, in the beginning to be for people without use of their hands or arms.
John had his own ideas about making battered fish accessible for us, and we started off with seasoned flour. Turn it over like a
I
sausage.
didn't do the water and the
No, we're doing that.
We'll do that after.
Okay.
And the end. I'm happy
Just
with
turn
mine.
it and then do each end. Dip your hands in the water, coat your hands in flour.
So I'm dunking my fish and my fingers in this batter.
Yeah, make sure your fingers are covered in batter.
And my fingers are
And
well
the fish
covered.
is covered.
Okay.
And now you can put the fish in the batter.
John, can you just hold
Yeah,
that
I
tray?
got that one.
I'm just going to do
And if your
another dunk.
fingers- And if your fingers hit the fat, it shouldn't burn you.
It shouldn't burn you.
It shouldn't burn
Can I
Would you like me
recommend?
to- Would you like me to show you on
No,
camera?
I'm going to do it.
Okay. That's it.
That's hot.
Yeah, straight down. Straight down. Don't drop it.
Ladies.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Done.
Alison, your turn.
Ladies and gentlemen at home, do not do this without supervision.
If you'd like.
What am I doing?
Okay, so there's the fish into the batter, which is right next to you. There.
Yeah.
Okay, drop it in there. Okay, coat it all the way in the batter.
Yes.
Okay, all coated.
Sure.
Transfer to the fat. Okay, hold the end.
Oh, yeah.
Hold the end, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now into the fat.
We were shallow frying in just a little order. John had tested whether the oil was hot enough by flicking in just a little water and hearing whether it crackled. How will I know when they're done?
You got to stop hearing that crackle.
I think if you had each piece of fish individually in the pan, you would hear the crackle.
Yeah, I think
So because there's different stages of.
Yeah. This batter is really crisp, isn't it? Can you feel it, James?
Oh, I'm touching the batter.
Yeah, yeah. John served the fish with his chips, the mushy peas and tartar sauce. Jensen tried our version of the classic English fish and chips.
And these are healthy chips.
These are, we could eat these until the cows come back.
Yeah.
Batter's good, isn't it?
You didn't even wait for me.
Jensen, I hope you've had a nice time cooking with me here.
Healthy, very healthy. I got a little bit of a workout. But no, everything was very different. And it just, like I said, told you before, it took me a little bit out of my comfort zone and the usual way that I operate with food. And I'm absolutely going to try some of this stuff at home.
Brilliant. Next time, Jennison and I present John with our pineapple dessert that we'd cooked for 24 hours. And please do check out the sort of podcast with pictures on the YouTube channel, which is where Jennison and I were talking about accessibility and technology and how modern developments can make a real difference for people with disabilities.